So there are two things. You can look at tax policy and tax administration. So let's look at tax policy.
Right.
So if you look at tax policy, the real heavy lifting happens from VAT. And it was the right decision of the government to take the VAT threshold, which is set at 60 million, and reduce it to 36 million. Because still it is above the IMF's recommendation of $100,000 basically. The reason why you need to do it is twofold. One is that you significantly expand the tax base. Second is that there is a distortion because there's a difference between, especially the service economy, where the value addition at the firm level is quite high as opposed to, say, a shop that has a lower value addition. There were a lot of people who were below the tax net, or they were floating new companies. You know, as soon as you get close to 60 million in revenue, you start company 2, you start company 3, and that way you don't pay the necessary VAT. So by making it 36%, that kind of evasion becomes harder, and it is the right thing to do because it reduces the distortion between those who are below the VAT threshold and those who are above the threshold. But the other things in tax policy is that still, if you are operating in a service industry where the output is consumed outside Sri Lanka, the tax rate is 15%. And I cannot fathom, if you are exporting goods, why it is 30%, and if you are exporting services, it's 15%. I can't understand the difference. And I don't understand why it is kept. Of course, it's an improvement. We went from 0 to 15, but my sense is it should have been taken to 30%. The next issue is actually tax administration. And in the budget, they have announced measures to improve tax administration. But my sense is that there is a lot of people who should be paying taxes who are either not registered or underpaying significantly their taxes. Then you have the issue of these tax incentives. And there are tax incentives awarded many years ago that don't have a sunset clause. So some of these things
are for investments.
Investments. So for example, they enjoy the tax-free period, say at 0% for 5 years. And then they enjoy a lower rate of tax, like 12%, 20%, indefinitely. There may have been some conditions specified by the BOI, but they have not been enforced. So not only are these people basically not paying their fair share of taxes, but they are enjoying an unfair advantage, because you could have two companies, one paying at 30 and one paying at 20. That's simply not acceptable.